You might have seen us out in the world, but let me tell you more about FENO. FENO is a play on words for the term phenotype or pheno hunt, but truly it calls to our roots in our cultivation process and how we find unique genetics. Our plant process really starts with our mom plants. We schedule cuts on them regularly, prioritizing the health of our mom plants, because without them, we couldn't have a non-stop grow process. We take those cuts and we put them into small cultivable blocks. Then they're almost in an incubation-like process where we make sure that they're going to be strong enough for the next step. Those 1-inch cubes then move into a larger cultivable block, which gives us best control over the water flow. Once they're ready, they move into soil pots. In those pots, we not only use that same cultivable, but also soil. I like to think of it as a mixed medium. Once those plants are finished with their veg process, they get moved into our bloom phase. Once in the bloom phase, our plants need different types of plant work. So really, depending on what phase they're in, the plants will look very different. Sometimes they look like little fuzz balls. Sometimes they look like they're just ready to take off. Other times you just want to bite right into them. That's my favorite part, because that really shows peak maturity in our plants, which really affects the end consumer experience. We prioritize our plants and our happy team. Our team is really unique as well. Within each department, they've all been working in their respective fields for about 10 years. So really, we have a very family-like team that's very comfortable with each other and a lot of trust. Without trust, the team wouldn't be able to really flow as well, and the plants really show it. Every room that you walk into, you have happy plants, wonderful smells, and happy people too. We also harvest on a scheduled basis. Every Monday is chop day. That's when it's all hands on deck. Everybody comes in to help break down the plants. Once they're broken down, they get moved into our dry rooms. Here's where we're literally drying the rooms, working to pull out the moisture from inside the plant and prioritize those nice crystals that the plant has developed. Once the plants are done drying, they're meticulously placed into those wonderful black totes. At the tote process is essentially where we start curing, where you allow natural gases to escape from the plant while still allowing it to dry and essentially form itself. Once they're completely cured, they then get transferred over to our trim room. Our trimmers, they're the greatest. During the trim process, the ladies break up in 3 categories: A's, B's, and C's. This really calls to the size of the buds. Not every genetic is the same, so we don't expect the same result. After the flower is done trimmed and been separated, it then gets transferred over to our weights and measurements team. They have the last look at the product before it hits the package and heads to the shelf. Everything from cartridges, syringes, pre-rolls, 5th jars, 1/8 bags, 1/2 ounces, you name it, it gets handled by them. All of our products are trimmed by hand, cured by hand, packaged by hand. Every single pre-roll, every single jar, every Mylar bag, 2 hands. When you shop FENO, you're shopping genetics that have been thoroughly hunted for. In the hunting process, once we've selected winners, we run them at a higher capacity through each cycle. It's a really rigorous process. Once it passes our cultivation phase, it then moves into its consumption R&D, where as a company, each of our leaders comes together and we smoke. I gather each member of leadership across our company to make sure that we all have a say in quality. We want to make sure that we're proud of everything we put out, so we make sure that we test it many times before anyone else sees it. I think a key way that the cannabis industry is going to change is just general acceptance. I think we're really breaking out of the lazy stoner stigma and moving into the productive smoker era. I like to think that this generation really has a different way of thinking, and just knowing that statistically cannabis use is proving to lower alcohol use, I think that's a really big indicator of general shifts in the world. The real highlight of FENO is our team. We are all really masters of our craft, and we treat it like an art. And in that art, we have found our FENO.